Let me tell you something right now, Dot. You didn't wake up today to be average. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to quit when it gets hard. I don't care how tired you are, how broke you are, how many times they've told you you can't. You're still breathing. That means you still got time. That means it's not over. That means you still got fight left in you. Dot, stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. Pain is temporary, regret is forever. That single truth has the power to transform how you respond to life's challenges. Pain, no matter how deep, no matter how intense, is a passing visitor. It comes in moments of loss, in hours of failure, in seasons of struggle. It whispers lies that make you question your word, direction, your ability to keep going. But here's the thing, pain has a limit. Pain fades. It might last a minute, an hour, a day, or even a year. But eventually it weakens, it loses its grip. It doesn't stay forever unless you give it permission to define you. Regret, on the other hand, is different. Regret is the wound that doesn't heal. It's the voice that speaks when the room is silent. It's the weight you carry when you know you didn't give everything you had. It's what you feel when you had a chance and you walked away. Regret creeps in when you realize the pain you avoided was the price for the life you wanted. It's the pain you pay for the rest of your life for not pushing through the temporary down. You see, the grind hurts, the early mornings, the late nights, the missed parties, the skipped vacations, the discipline stings, the sacrifice burns, but it's a fire that forges strength. You suffer in the gym so you don't suffer in defeat. You suffer through the work so you don't suffer through mediocrity. Because every day you choose comfort over effort. Every time you choose easy over right, you're collecting a debt you'll pay with regret. People quit when they confuse short-term pain with long-term failure. But failure is not falling down, it's staying down. You might lose, but if you learn, you win. You might stumble, but if you keep walking, you're still in the game. Pain is the tuition you pay for growth. It teaches, it builds. It purifies, but regret doesn't teach. It punishes, it haunts. It shows you what could have been if only you had kept going. So many people are out here running from pain, running from pressure, running from the very thing that was designed to make them bitter. They want the reward, but not the work. They want the crown, but not the cross. They want success without the sacrifice. And when it gets hard, when it starts to hurt, they back off. They retreat down in one day. They look back and realize they traded their potential for comfort. They realized the pain of discipline was nothing compared to the pain of regret. Think about the people who came before you, the legend, the greats, the ones who made history. They all had one thing in common. They embraced pain. They leaned into it. They used it as fuel. While others were looking for the exit, they were digging in deeper because they understood. This moment hurts, but quitting will hurt more. This storm will pass, but surrendering to it will leave a scar that lasts. You gotta decide. Do you want a temporary struggle or a permanent scar? Do you want the soreness of effort or the sting of regret? Because you can't have both. Every time you choose to push through, you're choosing a future with pride, not pain. You're choosing to look back with power, not pity. You're choosing to stand tall knowing you faced the fire and didn't run. Pain is temporary, and sometimes it even lies. It tells you that you can go further. It tells you this is the limit, but your limits aren't real. They're just the edge of your comfort zone. What's painful now will one day be your warm-up. What breaks you now will one day be your breakthrough. But only if you don't give up. When you feel the pain, physical, emotional, mental, pause and remember why you started. Remember the goals you set. Remember the people counting on you. Remember the version of you who once prayed for the chance you now have had. Version of you didn't ask for easy. They asked for opportunity, and opportunity always comes dressed in pressure. The world doesn't need more quitters. It needs warriors. It needs people who are willing to go one more round, to fight one more day, to stay one more out. Because the difference between those who regret and those who win isn't talent. It's resilience. It's who is willing to suffer now, to shine later. You don't stop. When you're tired, you stop. When you're done, that principle separates the average from the exceptional. It's easy to work hard when you feel good, when the sun is shining, when motivation is high. Anybody can put in effort when it's convenient, but the real test, the true measure of discipline, is what you do when you're drained, when the energy is gone, when your body says no and your mind says maybe. That's when greatness is built. That's the space where champions are forged. Die tired is not the signal to stop. It's the signal to start digging deeper. Because everyone hits that wall. That moment when your legs are heavy, your mind is cloudy. Your mind is cloudy. Your emotions are pulling you down. And the average person sees that wall and turns around. But the one who finishes, the one who refuses to stop until the work is done, finds something in the tank that isn't physical. It's not about how strong you are. It's about how strong your will is. There's a difference between being exhausted and being empty. Being tired is natural. Being empty is dangerous. If you quit when you're tired, you never give yourself the chance to see what you're truly made of. You never find out how much further you can go. Fatigue is the price of ambition. It's the toll you pay to cross into success. And if you let that stop you, you're cheating yourself out. You've got to understand. Being tired is part of the process. Every person who's built something meaningful, every story of triumph, every legacy worth remembering was written in moments of fatigue. Because the real work doesn't stop when you clock in. It starts when you want to clock out and don't. That's when you stretch. That's when you grow. That's when your limits expand. That's in those extra reps, those final miles, those early mornings, those late nights. That's where the separation happens. Because when others tap out, when others say, I've had enough, the finisher says, I'm not done yet. That voice inside says, yes, I'm tired, but this mission matters more than my comfort. And it's that mindset that carries people to the top. You see, tired is not your enemy. Tired is your ally. It's proof that you're doing the work. It's confirmation that you're in motion. If you're not tired, you're not trying. If you're not spent, you haven't poured yourself out yet. So the next time fatigue sets in, instead of backing off, lean into it. Don't wish it away. Use it. Let it remind you that you're alive. Let it remind you that you're chasing something most people won't. Success doesn't come to those who quit halfway. It doesn't come to those who pace themselves out of fear. It comes to those who finish. And finishing isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's crawling across the line. Sometimes it's showing up when your whole body tells you not to. Sometimes it's giving your all, even when no one's watching. Because that's the kind of effort that compounds. That's the kind of consistency that breaks barriers when you train yourself not to stop at tired, but to stop at D1. You start to operate on a different level. You stop being controlled by your feelings and start being led by your commitments. Your goals stop being optional. Your dreams stop being negotiable. And you start to hold yourself to a higher standard. Not because it's easy, but because you refuse to be anything less than your potential. Yes, you're going to have moments where quitting looks tempting. You'll have days when progress is slow and pressure is high. But that's exactly when you need to remember, this isn't about what you feel. It's about what you promise yourself. And promises to yourself matter. They are sacred. They are the foundation of self-respect. And nothing destroys that faster than giving up because you're tired. There will be times when your mind screams to stop, when your muscles ache, when the goal feels out of reach. But that's when you have to remind yourself, I didn't come this far to come this far. I didn't put in all these hours, all this energy, all this sacrifice to leave with almost. Almost doesn't get you to the finish line. Almost doesn't get remembered. Only finish does. And what makes it sweeter when you do cross that finish line is knowing you gave every drop, that you didn't hold back, that you didn't take the easy way. Because while others were done when they got tired, you were only getting started. The excuses are for the weak. That's not an insult. It's a reality. The excuses are the invisible chains that hold people back from achieving greatness. They sound like protection, like logic, like comfort. But what they really do is rob you of progress. Every time you make an excuse, you choose safety over growth. You choose a lie over the truth. And most dangerously, you choose to stay where you are instead of pushing forward to where you could be. The excuses dress themselves up in logic. I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. It's not the right moment. But the truth is, everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. No one ever had the perfect conditions handed to them. People who succeed aren't the ones who had it easier. They're the ones who showed up anyway. They didn't have time. They made time. They didn't feel ready. They got ready by taking action. They didn't wait for perfect. They worked with what they had. Excuses come from fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. So the mind creates stories, barriers, and justification to keep you comfortable because comfort feels safe. But nothing great was ever built in comfort. You don't get stronger by avoiding the weight. You get stronger by picking it up even when it's heavy, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. The weak rely on excuses to escape the discomfort of accountability. Because when you own your actions, when you stop blaming the world, when you look in the mirror and say, this is on me, you take control. And control is power. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take back your life. It's the moment you stop living on someone else's terms and start writing your own story. That excuses are the enemy of discipline. You can't be disciplined and full of excuses at the same time. Discipline says, I'll do it no matter what. Excuses say, I'll do it only when it feels good. That's the dividing line between those who dream and those who execute. Those who are willing to suffer now so they can shine later, and those who keep waiting for the right time that never comes. Think about how many opportunities have been missed because of excuses. How many dreams died because someone said, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes never. And before you know it, the window closes. The door locks. And all you're left with is the story of what could have been. That's the cost of excuse. Not just lost time, but lost purpose. Lost potential. Lost legacy. That excuses don't just affect you. They affect everyone around you. Your family, your team, your community. When you don't show up, you teach others that giving less is okay. That quitting is acceptable. That standards don't matter. But when you reject excuses and rise to the occasion, even when it's hard, you become an example. You prove what's possible. You set the bar, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's watching. The strongest people aren't the ones with perfect conditions. They're the ones with relentless commitment. They show up broken. They show up tired. They show up without support. But they show up. And every time they do, they grow stronger because they didn't let their excuses become their identity. You have to make that same choice. Are you going to be the person who had 1,000 reasons why it didn't work? Or the person who made it work anyway? When you start taking responsibility for your results, no matter what, you free yourself. You're no longer a prisoner of circumstance. You're the architect of your own outcome, and that mindset is rare, it's powerful. It's what separates leaders from followers, not talent, not luck, just the refusal to let excuses take over. You don't need perfect conditions. You need relentless drive. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself enough to start. You don't need to wait until you feel like it. You need to move when it's hard. That's how growth happens. That's how success is built. By doing the thing, even when every excuse in the world tells you not to. That excuse is uncomfortable. Effort is uncomfortable, but effort wins every single time. When the scoreboard is tallied, when the records are broken, when the stories are told, no one remembers the excuses. They remember the finishers. They remember the warriors who kept going when they could have quit. They could remember why you started. In the middle of the grind, when everything feels heavy, when your strength is fading and your motivation is running on fumes, that memory becomes your fuel. That moment when you first made the decision, when the fire first lit in your chest, that's the anchor. That's the source. That's the reason you got on this path in the first place. And sometimes when the path gets dark, you don't need a new goal. You just need to reconnect with the original one. Life has a way of testing how badly you want something. It doesn't just hand it to you. It throws setbacks, distractions, and disappointments your way. It pushes you to the edge and whispers, is it really worth it? And in those moments, when everything in you wants to quit, the only thing that keeps you moving is remembering what made you start. So, the dream, the pain you wanted to escape, the future you wanted to build, the people you said you'd make proud, the promise you made to yourself. That you started this journey for a reason. Maybe it was to prove someone wrong. Maybe it was to rewrite your story. Maybe it was to be the first in your family to make it. Maybe it was because you knew deep down that you were meant for more. Whatever that reason was, it had power. It meant something to you. It pulled you out of your comfort zone and into the fight. And just because the fight is hard doesn't mean the purpose disappeared. That reason is still alive inside you. You just have to reach in and grab it again. The problem is, we forget. We get caught up in the noise. We get tired. Life stacks new responsibilities on our shoulders. People question us. We start comparing ourselves to others. The pressure builds. And slowly, that original fire starts to dim. Not because the dream wasn't real, but because the world tries to convince us to settle. It tries to get us to accept average. But the truth is, the version of you who started this didn't ask for easy. That version of you wanted transformation. And transformation always comes at a cost. That cost is sacrifice, it's time, it's effort, it's failure. It's doing the hard things day after day, even when the results don't come fast. But when you remember why you started, it reminds you that the pain has a purpose, that the effort is building something, that the struggle is shaping you. Every early morning, every late night, every ounce of sweat and every tear has meaning when you stay connected to your why. When you started, you saw a vision. Maybe it was blurry, but it was real. But it was real. You saw yourself in a better place, a stronger body, a freer mind, a fuller life. You imagine the pride you feel at the finish line. You saw yourself rising above where you were. Don't let temporary pain make you forget that permanent picture. The process may have gotten hard, but the destination is still worth it. And if it was worth starting, it's worth finishing. There are going to be days where your motivation disappears. That's guaranteed. Motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes. But your reason, your purpose, that's what stays. That's what you hold on to when motivation runs dry. That's what gets you out of bed when you feel like staying down. That's what pushes you to take one more step when your legs are heavy. Because purpose is greater than pain. And purpose always outlasts fatigue. Back to that first moment you decided to go after it. Nobody forced you. Nobody begged you. It came from something deep inside. That spark didn't come from the outside. It was born in you. It's still in there. Buried under the weight of time and pressure, maybe, but it's not gone. You just have to clear away the excuses, the distractions, the noise, and it'll come alive again. And when it does, it'll remind you of everything that's still possible. That people quit not because they're weak, but because they lose sight of why they started. They lose connection with the dream that set them on fire. And once that connection is gone, everything else feels heavy. The work feels pointless. The grind becomes unbearable. But when you reconnect with your why, you tap back into that original energy, that raw determination, that refusal to go back to where you used to be. That's not about talent. It's about refusing to quit. That's the truth most people don't want to accept. Talent is easy to admire. It looks good on paper, sounds impressive in conversation, and makes people believe success is something you're born with. But talent means nothing without work. Talent without discipline is wasted potential. Talent without consistency is a false promise. The world is full of talented people who never made it, not because they weren't gifted, but because they gave up when it got hard. The ones who rise, the ones who actually reach the top, are the ones who simply won't quit. They show up when they don't feel like it. They work when no one is watching. They stay focused when others get distracted. They fall and get back up. Again and again, they don't need things to be perfect. They don't need every condition to line up. They just keep going. That's the difference. Not how naturally gifted they were, but how relentless they were. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to have the best connections. What you need is heart. You need grit. You need the ability to keep moving forward when everything in you says stop. The world gives way to people who refuse to back down. That kind of mindset can't be taught in a classroom. It's earned in the fire. It's earned in the moments you choose to keep going when quitting feels easier. Not quitting is comfortable. It offers relief. It lets you escape the pressure. But it also steals your future. It takes what you could have built and leaves you with regret. Every time you give up, you train your mind to settle. You teach yourself to back down from challenges. But when you refuse to quit, you train your mind to be unbreakable. You build strength that talent alone could never provide. Most people underestimate what they can achieve because they overestimate how much talent matters. They believe if they don't have natural ability, they can't win. But the truth is, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Drive beats ability, hunger beats perfection. The person who refuses to quit will outlast the one who only shows up when it's easy. You gotta stop waiting to feel ready. Stop comparing yourself to people who seem more talented. Stop thinking that because you're struggling, it means you're not meant for it. Everyone struggles. Everyone has moments where doubt creeps in. But the ones who make it are the ones who say, I might not be the best, but I'm not leaving until I finish. That decision alone sets you apart. That mindset is what creates champions. The journey isn't supposed to be smooth. It's not meant to feel effortless. That's the illusion talent creates. It makes people believe success should come quickly, that if you're meant for it, it should be easy. It should be easy. But the truth is, anything worth having will test you. It will break you down and force you to build yourself back up. And in that process, talent becomes less important than toughness. The grind respects effort. It rewards those who stay in the game long enough to figure it out. You might start behind, but if you keep showing up, you'll pass people who had a head start, because consistency compounds. Every small step forward matters. Every time you push through the resistance, you build momentum. And momentum is more powerful than talent. It's the force that carries you through the days you don't feel strong. Don't fall in love with the idea of being gifted. Fall in love with growth. With the process, with the daily choice to keep going. That's where real power comes from. Not from what you're born with, but from what you built through pain, discipline, and sheer refusal to quit. Your story won't be about how talented you were. It'll be about how you kept going when most people gave up. It'll be about how you stayed locked in when others got distracted. It'll be about how you found a way when there was no clear path. That's what people respect. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not your natural ability, but your refusal to back down. The pain you feel today is the strength you feel tomorrow. It may not seem like it now while you're in the middle of the storm, while you're carrying weight that feels like it's going to break you. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is the process. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to build you, to shape you, to refine you. Every struggle, every setback, every ounce of discomfort is molding you into someone stronger, more resilient, more capable. People want growth, but they don't want the process that creates it. They want to level up, but they don't want to go through what leveling up really demands. Pain is the price of admission and transformation. You don't get stronger sitting on the sidelines. You don't become great by avoiding discomfort. The person you admire, the one who inspires you, they bled for it. They've cried for it. They faced pain and they pushed through it. Not because it felt good, but because they knew it was necessary. Pain teaches you what you're made of. When life hits you hard, when things fall apart, when you're down to your last bit of energy, you learn who you really are. You don't discover your strength in comfort. You discover it in the dark. When everything in you wants to quit, but something deeper in you says, keep going. That's where your real power is born, not when it's easy, but when it's hard, and you keep showing up anyway. The pain you're feeling today, physical, emotional, mental, is not punishment. It's preparation. It's building muscle you can't see yet. It's sharpening your focus. It's burning away the weakness that can't come with you to the next level. Every rep you push through, every difficult conversation you endure, every lonely night you survive, it's all creating something in you, something unshakable. You have to stop running from pain and start recognizing it as a sign that you're on the path. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to test your patience, your faith, your commitment. That's what makes it real. That's what gives your journey meaning. If everything came easy, it wouldn't mean anything. It's because it hurts that it matters. It's because you had to fight for it that it has value. Look at nature. Diamonds don't form in comfort, they're forged under pressure. Muscles don't grow from rest. They grow when they're torn and rebuilt. Trees don't develop deep roots in perfect weather. They grow strongest in the storm. And you're no different. You're being refined. The pain you feel today is chiseling away everything that doesn't belong. Every scar, every wound, every trial is part of your story, part of your rise. The world tries to sell you ease. It tells you pain is a sign to stop. But in truth, pain is the path. It's the toll you pay for greatness. You can either avoid it and stay the same or face it and be transformed. You decide. But if you choose to face it, if you choose to lean in, to embrace the struggle instead of running from it, you come out the other side a different person. Stronger, wiser, tougher, and more ready than ever to take on what's next. Nobody sees the pain behind the progress. They see the success, the results, the confidence, but they don't see the nights you doubted yourself, the mornings you wanted to stay in bed, the moments you questioned whether it was all worth it. But those are the moments that count. That pain, that struggle, it's the currency of success. It's what gives your journey authenticity, because nothing real is built without sacrifice. You'll remember this pain one day, not with bitterness, but with pride. You'll look back and realize that everything you went through made you exactly who you needed to become. You'll see that the very thing you thought would break you was actually building you. That the challenges you prayed would go away were the ones that prepared you for the blessings you weren't ready for before. So whatever you're facing right now, whatever's testing you, whatever pain is burning in your chest, know this, it has a purpose. It's not random. It's part of your story. And though it hurts now, though it's stretching you to your limit, that stretch is what's making room for growth. That fire is what's purifying you. That pressure is what's forging you into something stronger than you ever thought you could be. So don't run from the pain. Don't hide from the pressure. Don't quit when it gets hard. Stand up, face it, and fight through. Because every tear you shed, every moment you push forward, every time you refuse to quit, you're writing a story worth telling. A story of grit, of resilience, of relentless drive. You're not just chasing a goal, you're becoming the kind of person who refuses to be broken. The kind of person who doesn't just survive, but dominates. So keep grinding, keep believing, keep moving. And remember this, always too early to give up. Your breakthrough might be one more step away.